I never thought following a simple HOA rule would turn me into a suspicious man standing outside my own home. One phone call, one lie, and suddenly police lights were flashing in my face. The woman who called 911 on me had no idea the dispatcher on the other end of that call was my wife. It was just another long day. I was tired, my shirt sleeves rolled up, my briefcase hanging from my hand. The sun was dipping behind the houses, that Arizona golden purple kind of evening where you just want to get home, kick your shoes off, and breathe. I pulled up to the gate of my neighborhood, Stonehaven Estates, tapped my key fob, and waited for it to slide open. That's when I heard her. "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me." Sharp voice, commanding, the kind of tone that doesn't ask, it expects. I turned and there she was. Older woman, maybe early 60s, grey hair twisted into a tight bun, a cardigan, neatly pressed, HOA badge pinned like it meant she carried a badge of the law. "Be a gentleman and open the gate for me," she said, marching closer. I left my card at home. I gave her a polite smile. "Sorry, ma'am, HOA rules say we can't let anyone in without a card. You can call security, they'll let you through." She blinked like I had just spoken another language. "Excuse me, I live here. I've been on the board for 12 years. Are you seriously refusing to let me in?" "I'm just following the rule," I said evenly. "Same one that applies to everyone." Her lips tightened. "You're being difficult. You don't get to decide who lives here." "I'm not deciding anything, ma'am," I said, nodding toward the posted sign. "That's the number. Call security. It's not personal, it's procedure." And that's when it happened, that shift in her eyes. It wasn't about a gate anymore. It was about control. She wanted obedience, not compliance. "If you won't let me in," she snapped, "I'll call the police." I almost laughed. "You're calling 911 because I followed the HOA rules." Her thumb was already dialing. That's the thing, I've seen this story before. Men like me standing exactly where I was suddenly turned into threats. My stomach knotted, but I didn't move. I wasn't going to give her a reason. Across town, my wife Tanya was working her shift at the 911 dispatch center, rows of desks, fluorescent lights, the endless hum of ringing phones. She'd taken 6 calls in the past hour. Accidents, domestic fights, real emergencies. Then a new call flashed on her screen. 911, what's your emergency?" she said, her tone steady. A woman's voice came through that same one. "There's a man blocking me from entering my neighborhood. African-American, mid-40s. He's standing right by the gate, acting suspicious." Tanya froze. Mid-40s, Stonehaven Estates. Her pen stopped moving. "Can you describe him again?" she asked, her voice shaking just a little. "Tall, dark jacket, briefcase in his hand," the caller said. "He's glaring at me like he owns the place." Tanya's chest tightened. That was me. She knew it instantly. My jacket, my briefcase, my evening routine. But she couldn't break protocol. She couldn't scream into the line and tell that woman she was describing her husband. Instead, she stayed calm, professional, but her hand was gripping the pen so hard the plastic bent. "Ma'am," she said carefully, "is this man threatening you in any way?" "Not with words," the woman replied, "but his attitude is threatening enough." And just like that, I was officially the threat. By the time the police arrived, the neighborhood had gone still. Blue and red lights washed over the stucco walls, palm trees flickering in color. I stood by my SUV driver's license, ready, heart thudding, but hands visible. I'd already texted Tanya. "You won't believe what's happening." She replied instantly. I got the call. The cruiser pulled up. 2 officers stepped out, one older, cautious hand hovering near his holster, the other younger, scanning the scene. "There he is," the woman shouted, pointing at me. "That's him." He refused to let me in. I didn't move. "Evening, officers," I said evenly. "My name's Morris Dunley. I live here, just coming home from work." The senior officer nodded, motioning for me to stay put. "We'll check that out, sir." The woman, I'd learned her name by then, Janice Kettleman, hurried to them breathless with self-righteous fury. "I'm a member of the HOA board," she said proudly. "He's loitering, blocking me, and being extremely rude." The younger officer looked at her. "Did he threaten you?" "Well, not exactly," she said, hesitating, but his presence was intimidating. I couldn't help it. I laughed. "Presence. You asked me to break the rule you enforce on everyone else." I said no. That's all this is. The older officer took my ID, glanced at it under his flashlight, then checked my address. "It matches. He's a resident." Janice's face twisted. "You're just taking his word for it." "It's not my word," I said softly. "It's state-issued ID." By now, porch lights had flicked on. Neighbors were peeking out from their windows, phones raised. Someone whispered, "She really called the cops for this." Tanya listened from her console as the radio crackled. "Subject cooperative. Produced ID immediately." She closed her eyes, whispering under her breath, "Oh, God. Morris, please stay calm." Back at the gate, Janice tried to reclaim control. "Do you think this is how a homeowner should behave? Making me feel unsafe, blocking me from entering my own neighborhood?" I turned to her. What part of following the rules makes me suspicious, Janice? I didn't touch you. I didn't raise my voice. I told you the same thing the HOA emails every month: you need a gate card. From behind her, a woman's voice shouted, "He's right, Janice. You fined me last month for letting my cousin in without ID." Janice froze. I saw the exact moment the power shifted, when her authority cracked in front of everyone. The younger officer stepped forward. "Ma'am, calling 911 is for emergencies. There's no evidence of a crime here." "You can't just let him go," she cried. "That sends the wrong message." "People like him." The words slipped out before she could stop them, and the entire street went silent. The officers, the neighbours, everyone heard it. I took a slow step toward her. "People like me?" I asked quietly. "You mean homeowners, fathers, taxpayers? Or did you mean something else?" Her mouth opened, then shut again. The shame spread across her face. The older officer straightened. "Ma'am, that's enough. Misuse of 911 is a serious matter. You could be cited." I didn't gloat. I didn't even smile. I just looked at her, calm and steady. This didn't have to go this far. A phone call to security would have solved everything, but she wasn't done. "This isn't over," she hissed. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone. People will remember this." I met her eyes. "You're right," I said. "They will, just not the way you think." The officers wrapped up their report, the crowd dispersed, and the lights faded. I got in my car, pulled through the gate, and finally exhaled. My hands were still trembling on the wheel. Across town, Tanya sat in silence, headset off, palms pressed against her eyes. She'd just listened to her husband being profiled live on the line, and she couldn't say a word. She logged the final note: "No threat. Caller warned for misuse." But neither of us knew that night was only the beginning. By morning, the videos were online. Neighbours had filmed everything, her shouting, "People like him," me standing there calm, holding my license. The clips spread fast. Facebook, Reddit, local news. Comments poured in. "This is why HOA boards are a joke." He handled that better than anyone could. I sat at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee, scrolling through the posts, while Tanya sat across from me, her hand on mine. "She's not going to survive this," she said quietly. "I don't want her destroyed," I said. "I just want the truth out." But the truth has a way of cutting deeper than revenge. By noon, the HOA president, a man named Gerald Miles, sent Janice an email. "Step down immediately. You've embarrassed the board and the community." She didn't take it well. Later that day, she stormed into the clubhouse demanding an emergency meeting. "That video was manipulated," she shouted. People twisted the story. But her colleagues were done defending her. One woman said flatly, "We all saw it, Janice. You said those words. It's not editing, it's you." For the first time, Janice's voice faltered. "He made me feel powerless," she whispered. "No," another board member said quietly. "You made yourself powerless when you refused to see him as your equal." She left the room without another word. That was the night she resigned, one short email. Effective immediately, I am stepping down from the HOA board. No apology, no reflection, just retreat. And me, I was left with a strange mix of relief and exhaustion. A few days later, while walking my daughter to the school bus, one of the parents stopped me. "Hey Morris," she said, "I showed my son that video. I told him this is how a man handles hate with grace." Her words hit me harder than I expected. I smiled, thanked her, but my chest felt heavy. Because the truth is, I hadn't felt graceful. I'd felt cornered, furious, humiliated, like every calm breath I took that night was the only thing standing between dignity and disaster. That evening, I sat on the porch with Tanya. The air was cool, quiet. She handed me a mug of tea. "You did everything right," she said softly. "You kept calm. You didn't let her pull you down." I stared at the streetlights flickering across the pavement. "And yet I still had to prove I belonged," I said. "In my own neighbourhood." She nodded. "I know. I heard every second. But the truth came out anyway." We sat there letting the silence speak. Our daughter's laughter drifted from inside, light and innocent. And for the first time since that night, I felt something close to peace. Janice disappeared from the community after that. No more patrols, no more HOA newsletters, no more smug clipboard walks. Just silence. Her name became a warning more than a memory, a reminder of how power, when left unchecked, can turn poisonous. But for me, it wasn't about her downfall. It was about what the whole thing revealed, not just about her, but about all of us. About how fast judgment spreads, how easily someone's word can turn into a weapon, and how rare it is to see someone stay calm when the world's pushing every button to make them break. A week later, my daughter asked me the question I'd been dreading. "Daddy, why did that lady call the police on you if you didn't do anything wrong?" I took a deep breath. "Sometimes people make quick judgments," I said, "and when they let those judgments take over, they hurt others without meaning to. What matters is how we handle it." I stayed calm. I told the truth, and the truth showed itself. She frowned, thinking hard, then smiled. "So you showed her you weren't bad?" I nodded. "Exactly. Not just her, everyone else too." She went back to her crayons, drawing a little house with a gate in front. Tanya placed a hand on my shoulder and whispered, "You taught us something tonight, Morris, that you never have to fight fire with fire. You can stand tall without shouting." Outside, a neighbour jogged past and waved. "Morning, Dunleys." It sounded different now, warmer, honest. I didn't need an apology from Janice. I didn't need revenge. The truth had already done the talking. What happened that night started as a petty HOA argument, but it turned into something bigger, a mirror for the whole neighbourhood, maybe even for anyone who's ever been judged before being understood. And if you're wondering what I took away from all this, it's simple. Dignity is louder than accusation, and the truth always finds its way out.